Thank you. Thank you, Remy. And good afternoon to everyone. It's quite a gloomy afternoon, I guess, due to the weather. But I hope that wherever you are located, you've had an enriching experience with our fifth UA&P IT conference. Now, I'm probably the one keeping everybody from going on to their next appointments and the like. But I'll promise you, if you can indulge me with a few minutes, I'll promise to let you go sooner. Now, let me try to toggle a little bit here and see if I can share share some screens. Okay, and well, I want to start off with this. The struggle is real. Okay, we know that we've heard this cliche from many people nowadays. The younger generation has been saying this to describe the difficulties that, in hindsight, everybody would face anyway, right? All of us, you and I, were all struggling, definitely, in whatever situations we find ourselves in. Now, especially now, this statement, the struggle is real, is quite pertinent with the current pandemic affecting us. As you have noticed, even how we've run our fifth conference was not spared from this struggle being real, right? Shifting from its traditional format, that is having a mass gathering of researchers, presenters, and discussing their points face to face, and moving all of that into an online format. But allow me to share, by way of closing the event, two aspects of this statement, the struggle is real, that everyone can take away with them as we finish the conference. The first, and perhaps more obvious angle of that statement, is that all of us were all faced with various types of struggles without exception. It is from these struggles and challenges that fuel the initial spark of how we conduct research in whatever field or discipline we find ourselves in. Now, without these challenges, these issues, these struggles, research, well, cannot properly begin. Now, I'd like us to move away from that romanticized view of research, okay, typically denoted in science fiction movies, books, literature, as something highfalutin, okay, into a more genuine view of research that is really grounded in realism. Okay, granted, there are some fiction authors. For example, you have Isaac Asimov, and if you're familiar with his three laws, okay, in the story I, Robot, that actually paved the way on how we've done a tempered approach to artificial intelligence. But even authors like Asimov, I would say, understood that advances in science and technology cannot be divorced from the transcendent reality of the human person, the human community, the society where we live in. Yes, the struggle is real, and our research has to be real. Okay? It has to be realistic. Now, the second angle that I'd like to talk about is that doing research actually has its own peculiar struggles, right? The struggle of doing research is real. And I'm sure our esteemed panelists and definitely our presenters this afternoon know what I'm talking about. Okay? For those of us who've been doing this, sometimes we do this to fulfill some academic requirement, but we understand that research should go beyond mere compliance. Again, taking off from my earlier point, I'd like us to move away from that romanticized view, as I've mentioned, of looking for fantastic or grandiose results in all research endeavors. Now, if your project, my project, we've been able to come up with amazing results, then good for us. And definitely good for everybody else. Because we can actually say that the research that we've been doing will create impact, a huge, significant impact to society at large. But we should not be constrained to the idea that all research must yield amazing results, okay, before we can say that we've actually done honest research. And in fact, I would perhaps offer my personal definition of research as the pursuit of purposeful improvement publicized. So I'll repeat that now. Research as the pursuit of purposeful improvement publicized. So as long as you can demonstrate that improvement, big or small, doesn't really matter. It's an improvement that has not been shown previously in a public forum, and it's an improvement that was purposeful, meaning it actually followed a certain rigorous accepted framework. Then that is research, everybody. Yes, because that the struggle is real and that research has to be realistic, then let's get real. Okay? We should be running to the fire and not running away from it. And that's at the heart of research. Okay? And it is only then that we can actually reap the rewards of research. Now, before I close out, I know Mr. Jakaris has already mentioned this in his pre-recorded video, but I'd like to express my heartfelt gratitude to all of our presenters, our panelists, to our keynote speaker earlier, Mr. Alan Bora, okay, to the IST digital team. So this is a team, the technical team in my department that takes care of all the logistics for this webinar that we're having right now. Okay, definitely with collaboration with CRC, Remy De Leon. Okay, and to all the organizers headed by the conference chair, Mr. Romel Jocaris. Now, as you know, with the fifth conference, it only got tougher and tougher. I mean, when we were doing this the first time around many years ago, okay, we were a little bit relaxed. We were allowing a certain tolerance for error. But this is the fifth time around, and we weren't really lucky to to actually have the pandemic be at the forefront, okay, of the current conference. So I know it hasn't been easy, but I do hope, I sincerely hope that everyone had a great time with us this afternoon. Okay, with the authority vested in me by the University of Asia and the Pacific, I hereby officially close the fifth International Research Conference on Emerging IT Trends in Asia and the Pacific. See you all on the sixth conference later in the year. Thank you again and stay safe.